Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, take a second to hit subscribe and turn on notifications because we talk about the biggest debates in basketball, and today's topic is a big one. Let's get into it. Olivia Miles versus Angel Reese. Two names that come up all the time in women's basketball talk, but for different reasons. One built her name off one huge moment. The other has been quietly building a resume that scouts and coaches respect more and more every game. Today we're putting the two side by side. We're breaking down their games and answering the question everyone keeps asking. Is Olivia Miles actually the better player? And is she on track to take Angel Reese's spotlight? I think the answer is yes. By the end of this video, I think you will too. Let's start with some background, because it matters. Angel Reese became a household name at LSU. A national championship, a Final Four moment against Caitlin Clark that broke the internet, and a rebounding game that never slowed down. Reese figured out something a lot of college athletes never figure out. Attention is power. She turned hustle plays and confidence into a real brand. Magazine covers, big endorsement deals, mainstream fame. Whatever you think of her game, Angel Reese changed how people talk about women's basketball. That's real, and it matters. Now here's Olivia Miles. She played at Notre Dame, a point guard with a skill set scouts have been talking about since her freshman year. Great court vision, a smooth scoring touch, and basketball smarts that show up every single game. Miles never needed one viral moment to get people talking. Her game did that for her. Triple doubles, full control of the offense. The kind of player who makes everyone around her better just by being on the court. Different path, but just as real. Now let's get into the actual basketball, because that's what this comes down to. Let's start with rebounding, since that's Reese's biggest strength. Nobody can take that away from her. Second chance points, non-stop hustle, a motor that never stops. That's a real, valuable skill. But basketball has changed. Today's game rewards spacing, passing, and players who can do more than one thing. Reese's game is still mostly close to the basket. She's not shooting from outside much, and she's not the one setting up the offense. That makes her a strong role player, a specialist. But specialists have a limit, and that limit is lower than people want to admit. Now compare that to Miles. She's a true point guard, a true leader on the floor. She sees plays before they happen. She controls the pace of the game. She can score close to the basket, from mid-range, and from outside, and she's great at setting up her teammates for easy shots. That kind of skill works in any system, with any team, at any level. A point guard who can do all of that is more valuable long-term than a rebounder who needs a very specific role to succeed. That's not just an opinion. That's how basketball teams actually evaluate talent. And this is where the debate gets interesting. When you talk to real basketball people, not social media accounts, but actual coaches, scouts, and analysts, most of them lean the same way. Reese has the fame. Miles has the game. And in a league like the WNBA, where spots are limited and playing time is earned, skill wins out over hype almost every time. Let's talk about staying power next, because this is a big part of the conversation. Angel Reese's rise was built around one moment. A huge, unforgettable moment that will get replayed for years. But here's the thing about moments. They fade. Once people move on to the next big story, and they always do, you need steady, strong play to stay relevant. Right now, there are real questions in basketball circles about whether Reese's game can keep up the way her fame did. Olivia Miles doesn't have that problem because her reputation was never built on one moment. It was built on winning basketball, game after game. When your play speaks before your name does, that's staying power. That's the kind of player teams build around for years, not just for one headline. Now let's talk about where the game itself is heading, because this matters a lot. Basketball at every level is moving towards speed, spacing, and passing. Big, strong rebounders who stay close to the basket are becoming less valuable every year because the game keeps getting faster. Meanwhile, guards who can control the game and set up others are becoming some of the most wanted players in the sport. That trend favors Olivia Miles. The whole game is shifting toward her strengths, while players like Reese have to adjust just to keep up. Think of it this way. Reese's game works best in a certain setup, one where she can stay close to the basket and grab rebounds. But put her against taller, faster players who can move well, and her weak spots start to show. Miles doesn't have that same problem. A smart, skilled point guard fits into almost any team, against almost any opponent, at any point in time. That's exactly why I think she comes out on top in the long run. There's also the mental side of the game, and it matters just as much as stats. Leadership. staying calm under pressure, making winning plays without needing all the attention. Olivia Miles has shown these things again and again, and in a league where teamwork and pace matter as much as scoring, that stuff adds up fast. Reese brings energy and confidence, and that's real. But Miles brings control, and control is what wins big games. Now, I know some of you are already saying that Angel Reese has accomplished more, and that's a fair point. A national championship means something. That's real, and it deserves respect. But we're not talking about who had the better college career. We're talking about who has the higher ceiling and who is built to stay great for longer. And when it comes to skills that carry over, basketball smarts, and the ability to adjust, Miles has the edge. Let's zoom out for a second, because this explains why this debate keeps getting louder. Women's basketball is growing fast right now. More viewers, more media coverage, more attention than ever before. And when the spotlight gets that big, it shows everything. Weak spots that used to go unnoticed get picked apart by film and by opposing coaches. Players who built their name mostly on moments and personality start getting tested in new ways. Meanwhile, players who built their name on pure skill start rising, because the film never lies. That's the direction the league is heading, and it favors Olivia Miles. Let's talk about the draft and long careers for a second, because this tells its own story. When people talk about skills that carry over, what they really mean is this. Can a player's game survive the jump from college to the pros without needing a total change? History shows that big scorers and rebounders in college don't always keep that same edge as pros, because at the next level, everybody is strong and everybody is athletic. The gap gets smaller. What doesn't shrink is great vision and smart decision making. Those skills grow with a player, they don't shrink. That's why point guards like Miles tend to have longer, steadier careers than forwards who relied mostly on being bigger or stronger than everyone else. Now let's talk about something people don't bring up enough, and that's team building. Front offices aren't just looking at who scores the most or grabs the most rebounds. They're looking at who fits. They're looking at who makes the whole team better. A smart point guard who controls the ball is one of the easiest players to build a team around, because she raises the level of everyone else on the floor. A strong rebounder without much of an outside game is a tougher fit, because you need the right pieces around her to make it work. That's not a knock on Reese. That's just how good teams get built. And it's exactly why guards like Miles tend to have more long-term value to the people actually building winning teams. Let's also talk about how each of them makes their teammates better, because this is one of the most overlooked parts of any player comparison, and it's usually what separates good players from truly great ones. When Angel Reese is on the floor, her impact mostly stays with her. She's fighting for rebounds, she's finishing near the basket, she's bringing energy. That's valuable. But it doesn't always raise the level of the other four players on the floor. Her presence helps the team, but in a more limited way. Olivia Miles changes things for everyone on the floor with her. A shooter gets an open look because Miles drew two defenders first. A teammate gets an easy layup because Miles saw the defense a step early. A big man gets an easy shot because Miles knows exactly when to pass it in. That's the difference between a player who helps a team and a player who lifts a whole team. Coaches talk about this all the time, and it's one of the clearest signs of a franchise cornerstone versus a strong role player. Now let's talk about pressure, because this is where a lot of hyped up players get exposed, and where the truly great ones stand out. Angel Reese plays her best when energy and emotion take over the game. That's a real strength, and in the right moment, it's a weapon. But playoff basketball isn't just about emotion. It's about making the right play when the game slows down, when defenses lock in, and when easy shots disappear. That's when point guards take over. That's when a player like Olivia Miles, who can create offense out of nothing, becomes the most important player on the floor. When the game gets tight, you want the ball in the hands of the player who thinks the fastest, not just the player who plays the hardest. Let's talk about the media side of this too, because it plays a bigger role than people admit. Social media rewards big moments. A stare down, a viral quote, a rivalry clip that gets shared 1,000 times. Angel Reese mastered that, and it made her one of the most recognizable athletes in the sport almost overnight. But there's a flip side. When results start to fall behind the fame, the same platforms that built you up can turn on you just as fast. That's not just a theory. That's how sports culture works online, in every sport. Olivia Miles' rise has looked different, and honestly, a lot quieter by comparison. She hasn't had one signature viral clip that defines her the way that Final Four moment defines Reese. But that's actually part of the point here. Her reputation has been built game by game through people in the sport talking about her actual play, not a highlight reel. That kind of reputation tends to last a lot longer because it's not resting on one single moment. It's resting on a full body of work. Now let's compare these two on winning plays, not just highlight plays, because that's really the heart of this whole debate. A highlight play gets you a clip people share online. A winning play gets your team a bucket when time is running out and the defense has taken away the easy options. Reese's game gives you a lot of the first kind. Miles' game gives you a lot more of the second kind. And when you're building a team that wants to actually win it all, not just win a news cycle, the second kind of player is the one you build around, every time. So let's bring this all together. Angel Reese brought a level of attention to women's basketball that changed the conversation around the whole sport, and that matters, and it always will. But attention and greatness are two different things. One gets you noticed, the other gets you remembered. Olivia Miles has the game, the basketball smarts, and the all-around skill to still be standing at the top once the hype settles and the actual basketball takes over. Right now, I believe she's the more complete player, and I believe she's on track to take that spotlight, whether people are ready to admit it or not. That's my take, but this debate isn't complete without yours. Drop a comment and tell me where you stand. Miles or Reese, and more importantly, why? If this video gave you a new way to look at it, do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.